Hey guys, I'm putting together a video of all of our movements. They're starting today with the squat. So first up is the air squat. This applies to all of the squat movements the setup does. So stand tall, shoulders down and back, your core is engaged, your glutes are engaged and it's ready. You're going to give a slight bend to your hips and knees before you send your butt back as you squat down, aiming to get at 90 degrees in your knees and hips or below. And then kind of pick up, using your glutes to kind of lift you back up. In terms of breathing, you can inhale on the way down and exhale on the way up. Or if you're postpartum, going through an injury, or you're kind of new to working out, you can exhale through the whole movement to give you a little bit more stability. So inhale at the top, and then exhale through the whole movement. So that is just an air squat. Then there's tons of all over variations. So the next one would be a jump squat. For a jump squat, you will squat down and immediately pop out, lifting yourself up off the ground. So down and up, down and up. You want to string together as many as you can. It's better to land and go immediately back down and jump up than it is to stop and then reset. That'll just give you more of a workout. If you're in the beginning, if you're new to working out, maybe you stop and reset each time to make sure that your form is perfect. But if you can string them together, that is better. The most important thing is once you squat down to immediately launch back out, because it's part of the stretch shortening reflex that as you come down, your muscles act like a rubber band as they're being stretched. And then if you pause here in the bottom, that energy just dissipates and you don't get the additional power to launch that you get if you string it together and go super fast. So that's the air squat and the jump squat. The next one is the front squat and back squat. So this can be a little confusing. You usually do these with a barbell. I'm gonna use the PVC pipe so I can just like stay in this general area. And we do both of them because they use two slightly different muscle groups. And so it's good to be strong in both. So for the front squat, again, shoulders down and back, you're standing tall, core is engaged. You'll have the barbell in a front rack position. So up here on your shoulders, your elbows will be up as high as they can go. If you're struggling to get your elbows up, it's probably a tightness in your back and your lats. So before you do this, try to stretch those out. You can do it like on a stability ball or on a chair, kind of leaning down and stretching them out. So front squat, elbows up as high as they can go. It's resting on your shoulders. Your core is gonna have to be really engaged to keep you upright in this position. To make sure you're not arching. You don't want to be arching. So your core is engaged. And now, send your butt down and back just like an air squat. Inhale all the way down, exhale all the way up. For the back squat, you're gonna have the PVC pipe on your back, clearly. Move your hair out of the way. When it's on the rack, you'll kind of step under. Get yourself into a good squat position before you lift it off, because if you lift it off and you're like this, you're gonna hurt your back. So get yourself in a good squat position before you lift it up and off the rack and step back. Feet about shoulders width apart, toes pointed as forward as you can. You're kind of like pulling your shoulder blades together so that the barbell is resting on the top of your traps. It shouldn't be resting on your backbone because that's not gonna be comfortable. So it's resting on your traps, but your shoulders are still down and back, looking at a point ahead of you for the most part. You don't wanna look too far up and you don't wanna look down. You kinda wanna find a spot on the wall directly ahead of you. Squat down and come back up. Inhale down, exhale up. Really using those glutes to kind of like pull yourself back up. I think that would be it for the front squat and the back squat. The next we have the goblet squat. So the other options, quickly, for the front squat and back squat, if you don't have a barbell, would be to use a dumbbell. So you can hold the dumbbell in the front for a front squat, and you can hold it back behind you. Like clearly your arms are in a different position here than they are with the barbell, a little bit of a different position. So it's not quite as effective, but it is possible if you're really lacking a barbell at the moment. And then for a goblet squat, you would hold it kind of like at your chest a little bit lower and squat down like this. So it's not quite the full front squat. It's just kind of more like a mid chest and squatting down. Usually this is done with a lighter weight, you can do it with a kettlebell or a dumbbell. If at any time, just like squats or general, it doesn't say front squat or back squat, but it's prescribed with dumbbells, I'll generally keep it just kind of on my shoulder. This allows my legs to move freely and makes my core work to keep my body nice and stable, trying to stabilize the weight on top. So it gives me a little bit of a better workout, I think. Rather than trying to hold the dumbbells out to your sides, it can get kind of awkward, your chest can fall forward, your legs can get in the way, just feels weird. So my recommendation is on your shoulders, or to do it in a goblet squat fashion without your chest. The next one is a circle band, which you need to grab. So for a circle band squat, take your circle band or a resistance band and tie it in a circle. Put it around your knees and squat down, same thing. This being around your knees kind of causes your glutes to activate a little bit more as it pushes your knees out. This is also a great thing to use with the pulse squat. So for a pulse squat, you'll squat down and then you'll pulse in the bottom for as many pulses are prescribed. So could be 3, could be 10, could be a lot. So if you squat down, let's say, because look what 3 pulses look like. Squat down, 1, 2, 3, and back up. 1, 2, 3, and back up. So that's a pulse squat. If you're new to working out, suffering from an injury, or just trying to work on your squat depth, a great thing to do is to squat to a box. So I'll demonstrate that now. Same thing, shoulders down and back, standing tall, core is engaged, a box or a chair behind you in the height that you want to get to. And there's kind of like 2 variations. So the easier one will be to squat down until you find it, and then sit all the way back before you kind of come back up. So we're squatting all the way down, sitting down, and back up. You can do that with weights too. The other option that's a little bit more difficult if you're just trying to get to a depth would be to squat down, but instead of sitting down, you come right back up. So you're just trying to find the box and then come back up. So that's to a box. The other one, the next variation would be a single leg squat. So for a single leg squat, you can have your leg out in front of you. This is kind of how you would have it if you were going to do a pistol, where you go all the way down, come all the way back up. I personally cannot do a pistol at this time, so I will not be demonstrating that for you. But you would essentially get yourself all the way down, and then from here, be able to come all the way back up. Oh, there we go. Got one for you. But to kind of practice, you can hold your leg out front and squat down for a single leg squat with the leg out front. I find that to be a little bit more difficult than doing a single leg squat with your leg behind you, where you can squat down and come back up. For this one, you're still sitting your glutes kind of down and back, but it's not quite as much as just kind of like folding down into itself like a flamingo. Using your arms to kind of maintain balance. Keep your chest up as much as you can. You don't want to be totally crunched over. Core engaged as always. If you can't do a single leg squat standing, or if it asks for weight, or if you just want to make sure you're not going to fall down, you can also do it to a box. So for this one, your foot would be facing forward. Take note of the distance away of the box, and you can do it the 2 different ways that I already said, where you come all the way down and sit and back up, or you just try to come down and touch it and back up. If you're holding a weight, hold it at your chest or on your shoulders. The next one is a lunge to squat. So for this one, be shoulder width apart. You'll squat down, maintain this squat as you step back into a lunge, and then come back to the squat. Lunge, back to the squat. Lunge, back to the squat. Try not to rest on that knee. Try to stay active as you go back into your lunge. Last one is, last 2, thrusters and wall balls. Very similar movements. For thrusters, your good squat stance, dumbbells up at your shoulders, because you're going to kind of combine a jump squat and a push press almost, where you're going to squat down and immediately come back using this force to drive the dumbbells up overhead. Squat down and drive. Squat down and drive. Inhaling down, exhaling up. For this one too, best to string them together. Keep it going, keep the rhythm. Help you get through them faster rather than having to stop and reset every time. kind of use even more energy sometimes. But if it's a new movement for you, then stop and reset. Just make sure that your chest is staying up with each rep and you're getting those dumbbells up overhead so that your ears are between your arms. And then wall balls, very similar, where you'll hold a medicine ball, squat down, and when you come up though, you're throwing the ball up at the wall, and the ball bounces off, you catch it, and go back down. Throw it, catch it, go back down. Throw it, catch it, go back down. Clearly I don't have a wall in front of me. It should be bouncing off the wall and back. That one can take some practice to make sure that you're gonna actually catch the ball. So those are all of the squat variations that we have right now. As I add more, I'll make an additional video or link to other videos that I think explain them well.